And welcome to Counsel the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. I tell you, we are back. May 2025. Excuse me, I'm multitasking. Been running all day long. But I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be sharing once again. Another month. Good evening, all my Instagram family, Miss Susie, Bessie. Good evening, everybody, and my Facebook family. Good viewers. Good evening, my YouTube viewers, and we're gonna get in and out this 30 minutes here. But welcome to May 2025 of Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. You all know I am Shanrae, and we're gonna get started. I'm going to be skimming through some stuff because I want us to just get into the meats and the gravy of everything. I'm going to open up my website disclaimer just a little bit so y'all can see it. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to open up my website disclaimer just a little bit. All right, for those that needed to see my website disclaimer. All right, this month we are going to be talking about power versus authority. I'm going to say it again, power versus authority. And before we get started, I am a degree counselor. I acquired my degrees in psychology and business organizational management from Ashford University. I'm not going to go into my bio tonight because it's been a long day, but I'm a degree counselor. I am a Christian counselor. So the scripture that I've been using for the past year, and I'm going to keep using it because it just really speaks volumes. And it says Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. And so a lot of y'all know it as be strong in the Lord, okay, and go from there. But again, this month we are talking about power versus authority. I want to go in and break this down for you, and let me see if I actually put it in here. I may not have. I got my key points, but I'm going to go in and break down power versus authority. Authority is when somebody gives you the permission to do something. That's what authority is. When somebody gives you the permission to do something. Power is the ability to do something. So you have the ability to do it, so you do it. Again, authority, the definition that I chose to use is when someone gives you permission to do something. Versus power is when you actually have the ability to do it. Okay, so let's move this on. All righty then. So power versus authority and why the difference matters. And this theory comes from Elizabeth Perry. All right. So let's go on and get into it. Power and authority. These are two terms that carry a lot of weight. We deal with this every single day, whether you're at work, you're at home, if you're at church, if you're in a business organization, if you're in a fraternity, if you're in a garden club, we deal with this everywhere we go. We know politically we see it, power versus authority. Okay, it carries a lot of weight, especially in the workplace. We're going to get to that on next week, though, talking about that. Most people might think of these two forms of influence, though, as being the same thing, especially regarding authority versus power in management and stuff like that. But they're not the same. Believe it or not, they really are not the same. Power versus authority. So although it appears that there's a fine line between the two, power and authority, they are different in a lot of different ways. And we're going to start breaking it down. We're going to break it down. We got the whole month to do it every Tuesday and Thursday night from 9 p to 9:30. So for those that are in leadership positions, it is crucial to understand how their methods of influence impact other people. I saw there's a new series on Netflix called what is it? The Next Best Thing. What Next or something. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it has like a lot of heavy hitters in there. a lot of comedians, well-known comedians that we know, and I'm saying the wrong thing. And I'm gonna remember it and say it on Thursday. But I started watching, it's a series. And there was a scene in it where it was people that went to college together. And they came back together. Good evening, CJ. How you doing? And they came together and they were all staying together. I guess this is their annual meet and greet where they would greet each other and hang out with each other. And they were married in couples. So one of the gentlemen, the men they went hiking. They went walking. And so one of the men who is Bruce Evan Almighty. I can't remember his name. The one who played Evan Almighty, he's the main character in it. One of them, he told his boys that he's tired of his wife. He want to get out of the 25-year marriage because she don't want to do nothing. So they were trying to talk him out of it and all of that stuff. Come to find out, the wife was planning, while they were all there, planning a wedding renewal, a 25-year wedding renewal. He told him that he was going to tell her that he wanted to leave or whatever like that. So they all decided somebody has to tell her this. Because they didn't want, with her putting all her efforts into it, she sprung it up on them and said, I'm going to do a surprise wedding renewal. So one of the people went to tell her. He couldn't tell her. He said, my wife needs to tell you something. So the wife came upstairs, which is a good friend of hers. They all grew up, together. She went to try to tell her that her husband is trying to leave her. And what this woman did, and it's coming back down to how the methods of someone has used their power and their influence. So the wife, she started talking about how her husband, Evan Almighty, he took 2 years out studying and researching. He wanted to buy a brand new high-grade car. Took him 2 years to test drive and do this and do that and the other. And then she said, but for some reason, after the 2 years of test driving and doing this and that and the other, he just came on back to Old Faithful. He just could not give up his Old Faithful car, and the car that he loved. And so when she said that, what she was trying to tell the other friend is, don't say it. I already know what's going on. But I trust that no matter what he's feeling at this time, he's going to always come back to his first love. And so I wanted to use that as an example for how leadership, because this was her day to renew her wedding with her husband after 25 years. She was in the leadership position that day, and she let her friend know, I already know what's on my husband's mind, but he's going to always come back to me. So an effective leader or person understands how to use a combination of both the power and influence, power and authority to achieve their goals. So how we use their control can determine the success or the failure of their teams, of people, the way things happen. All right, so let's look at power. And I took a little bit more time than what I thought. So let's look at what is power. Power is a person's capacity or ability, again, to exert their will over somebody else. Now, we've seen a whole lot of misused power. Okay, how y'all doing over there in Instagram land? How over there in YouTube land? Okay, over there in Facebook land. All right, we know a lot of people who misuse. We're sitting in seats right now watching people in power misuse their power and influence. But that's another story for another day. So every person, they can use a form of power in places, in different places. Okay, they can use different types of power, and they're used in different situations. An example is an exertion of power, and they always get back to work. We're going to talk more about that next week with work. Okay, so power can be earned through an educational background or by gaining experience. So we know either experience, that song, experience is the best teacher. Power can be earned by knowledge, by learning through, school, or by experience. All right, or it may be bestowed upon by a person, by another person. Okay, so how someone chooses to use this power, though, it depends on the person's personality. Okay, and how they use that. And this work, this situation, it show you whether they can handle the power. Everybody can't handle power, whether they can handle it or they cannot. All right. So now, let's look at authority. Authority is the formal, and let me move this. I'm sorry, because I'll be talking and won't be moving this PowerPoint. Authority. All right. So authority, again, is the formal and often legal right that a person holds to make decisions and give commands to others. For instance, a lot of us may have seen at some point in their life where someone had the authority, power of attorney, something like that, which is the authority to make decisions on behalf of somebody else. That is something that has been granted legally through somebody. So that's how we're going to compare authority right here. So authority is often tied to like a hierarchy of something. Authority now flows downward with commands delegated from someone in a superior position, and given permission granted from somebody that's in a higher authority than that person. Okay, so authority is usually exercised to get a task done through another party. I used to be a private duty nurse for a number of years. I worked two jobs when I was in a full-time college student as an adult. And so me being in the private duty sector, I was given permission from my patients, my clients. They would make me the temporary power of whatever, where I can go to their banks and take money out on their behalf. I can go take care of business on their behalf. This is it. I was given the authority to do this, but they had to sign legal documentation, and so did I, stating that I would do these things on their behalf as long as I was contracted to work with them. Okay, so that's an example of authority. All right, so let's move on. What time is it? Because I know. Okay, we're doing good. All right, so authority itself can be delegated, or delegation of authority, and it's important, and it's an important skill for any person to have, to be you find out who you are. You really do find out who you are when you've been given authority to do something. You know, you find out your strengths, you find out your weaknesses when you've been given an authoritative role in something, whether it's at work or in church, at home. You find out who some people are stricter parents than others. Some parents are just like, oh, that's my home. The child is my homeboy, my home. So you find out who you are when you're in a position of authority. All right, so now let's talk about 6 differences between power and authority. Here we go. The 6 differences, and it says here are key differences between this. So let's move this along, and I got them side by side. Okay, so number 1 is meaning. Meaning. All right. Power is the capacity of a person to influence others and after their actions, beliefs, and behaviors. However, it's important to note that there is a difference between power versus influence. There's a difference between power and influence. Number 2, and what the meaning with authority now. Number 1, authority is the legitimate power that a person or a group is granted to practice over others within an organization. All right, so let's move on. Number 2, and again, we're going to be breaking this down in all sectors throughout the month of our lives, with our families, with our intimate relationships, as a in a co-working setting, all of this. But we're just breaking down power and authority on this week. Number 2, source. So the source of power depends on the type of power that's given. Some people see power as something that they receive from an external source. This could be assigned title or position that gives somebody control, or, for example, a police officer. They have legitimate power. I work with police officers every day, judges, attorneys. I work with these people every day. They have a certain amount of power that they've been given with their job descriptions. Okay, and so their power comes from their position. Some people see power as a personal trait that is derived from maybe their status or a charisma, and even financial and social. We know a lot of people that we've seen a lot of things, even in social media and on the news, where people who have a financial gain, they're rich, but they use that to assert a negative type of power, which got them in some trouble. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna move on from that. So so some people exert power when they're rich. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it like that. We've seen a lot of that. It's an acquired ability that often stems from superior knowledge and expertise. So in this case, power is the self-granted right to control the decisions and actions of other people. Okay, so position and position in an office determines a person's authority. I'm gonna say that again. Position in office determines a person's authority in a specific situation. So authority is attached to a position. It is also conferred to. So this means that whichever person holds the position is also granted the authority attached to it. So that higher person's ranking or position, the higher their authority is going to be. So that's number 2 with power and authority. Number 3, let's move this on. What time is it? We're doing good. Number 3 is hierarchy. So the hierarchy of power versus authority is different. Power does not follow a specific hierarchy. It can instead flow in any direction, up or down, okay? This could come from a superior person or a subordinate person, subordinate to superior or junior to senior. Or it could be between people who are working similar levels, co-workers, or friends, or something like that. Power is not combined by any boundaries or confined. Power is not confined to boundaries. I'm going to say it again. Power is not confined to boundaries. Okay. And it usually is complicated. It's complicated by an element of politics, within your friendship or whatever, cliques. You know what I'm saying? The leader, stuff like that. But in contrast, authority is hierarchical. In nature, it always flows downward from the top to the bottom. Okay, so an authoritative superior they're the ones that delegate authority to somebody that's a junior or a subordinate. Okay, so that is the hierarchies. Power is not it's not subject to a hierarchy, but authority is. Number 4, I'm trying to get us in and out. And then we're going to continue this on Thursday night. Number 4, the ability to be lost. So you can lose both power and authority, but power is easier to lose than authority. And I didn't even know that until I started researching this. I was like, oh, that's good. That's good. It made me think. I was like, you're right. Power is easier to lose than authority. Wow. Okay. So power is lost quickly through mistakes. So as well as poor actions and poor behavior. However, it is important to note that people often become more powerful the longer that they work, the longer that they're in a situation. So because power is built on expertise and experience, a person who makes repeated mistakes, they lose their credibility. We've seen that. We've experienced that, how, we've lost respect for people who are in a powerful position, but they keep making poor decisions, All right. So, where we at? Okay. Even if they were, so authority is more technical and static in nature. It's only lost when a person in a position of authority loses that position. Okay. I think I'm just going to leave it there. Authority is more technical. All right. It's only lost when a person in that position of authority loses their position. All right. So let's move on to formality. That's number 5. And again, This is power versus authority, formality. So power is more informal. It may be obtained through illegitimate or informal means. We all know, we've seen, we've heard, we've watched the movies, we read the books. Okay, we've seen people gain power through illegal gain, through criminal acts, whatever like that. Being in the right place with the right people, okay, and then they still misuse what they got, misuse their power. So formality. Power is more informal. Okay, it's again, it could be obtained through illegitimate or informal means, such as nepotism and corruption or organizational networks. Authority, on the other hand, is both legitimate and formal. It needs to be granted by a person or entity in a superior position and can get revoked under specified circumstances or misuse. All right, so that's the difference with the formality part of it. Let's move on to number 6 and the final one for tonight: legitimacy. Legitimacy. So people can acquire power through illegitimate means. We said that earlier. Power may also be abused because of this, and it tends to have less legitimacy than authority. So this is particularly true in a workplace setting. All right. Employees are, we're going to say this, employees are generally more likely to respect a superior's authority than power exerted from someone of the same work status or whatever like that. The legalities behind authority also provides added legitimacy in some cases. So tonight we went over the 6 different, and I'm gonna say it really quickly again. All right, I'm gonna say it quickly again. The 6 differences between power and authority is meaning. That's number 1. Number 2 is source. Number 3 is hierarchy. Number 4 is ability to be lost. You can lose either or, power or authority. Number 5 is formality with both. And number 6 is legitimacy. So this has been the first breakdown of power versus authority. We're going to pick up on Thursday night, and we're going to get more into the meat and gravy of this. And then next week, we're going to break it down we're going to be talking about how power or authority is used or misused in a career setting, okay? Or in an educational setting or something like that. All right, so our takeaway for tonight, let me open this up a little bit. Our takeaway for tonight is people can acquire power through illegitimate means. Power may also be abused because of this. So it tends to have less legitimacy than authority. This is particularly true, okay, in places of politics or something like that. So that's our tip. People can acquire power. They can acquire it the right way or the wrong way. Okay, but it's up to you how you use it. All right. So let's move on to our quote. I'm going to open it a little bit. All right. And I had to get 2 different quotes, one for power, one for authority, but I love both of them. Number 1 is from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said, knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. I'm going to say that again. This was from the late, great Mr. Bruce Lee. Knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. Okay? With good character, you get respect with that. And number 2, the authority. This is by Mr. Robert Greene. And it says the authority that you establish must emerge naturally from your character, from the particular strengths that you possess. So these are the 2 quotes that I'm going to leave you all with tonight. Now, y'all know I'm going to do my little service announcement. Oh, let me open this up for my fellow counselors and theorists. This is where I got my teachers from on this week. This is my website. All right. Okay. Come on. All right. There we go. All right. So let's move this on. Excuse me. Better up. If you want to create a personal and professional transformation through expert life coaching, www.betterup.com is they can help you. All right, next is Ada. I love Ada Plus Community. Ada. Empowering adults with ADD, ADHD, and OCD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.adapluscommunity.com. I'm going to pause here for a minute. I do not get any sponsorship or anything from them, but I am a counselor, and I'm a helper by a teacher by nature. So these different websites and these different organizations that I'm referring, they are great avenues to look into if there's something that you need to, you want to get some helpful strategies for you with that. So I ended with Ada. This next one is BetterHelp. Okay, so if you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online therapist, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and their family members. www.betterhelp.com. All right. And 988 Crisis Helpline, which is available 24/7. So if you know someone that is struggling, or if you yourself are struggling, it is okay to share your feelings. The 988 Helpline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people who are in distress, prevention and crisis resources for you on your or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. This is 988 Crisis Line. All right. Next is, that skipped. Excuse me. Learning RX. Oh, this place has been around for years. If you want to become a better learner or thinker, you might want to consider adult brain training. Okay, adult brain training. And let me skip over. Thousands of adults have strengthened their skills with Learning RX. Okay, and the average graduate improved their IQ at least by 13 points during the period of their brain training sessions. Okay, and it's helped their significant gains in their skills like working memory, long-term memory, and attention. So www.learningrx.com. They have been around for at least 30 years. They've been helping people for at least not just children, but adults as well. And a lot of professionals, they go and get brain training just to sharpen their skills, like judges and attorneys and doctors and stuff like that. So Learning RX is a great, what I want to call, investment in yourself. All right, so let's move this along. How many minutes do we got? Oh, I got one more minute. I'm doing good. So if there's a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae series that you missed or you just want to rewatch, go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price, like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and then for notifications, and then select any past series that you would like to watch. When you go to my channel, type in Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, and all of them will pop up, and you choose from there. Okay. All right, so I am a professional counselor. I'm a degree counselor, and I have my clients, my private clients on the side, and I do offer professional one-on-one counseling. So if you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Owens, or you can just email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. I'm a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. This has been it for tonight. I will pick up Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp for part 2 of Power versus Authority, and it's the breakdown this week. I hope to see you all then. I want to thank you all. Hey, Peaches, how are you? It's so good to see you. I'll see you Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all again for everything, for constantly coming on. I want to thank my Instagram family, my Facebook family, my YouTube family, my Snapchat family, my Twitter family, and my TikTok family. Thank y'all for your follows and your likes and your shares. I've had people inboxing me even on this past Sunday saying, when are you coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Thank you. Thank you for inquiring about that. For the month of May, I'll be on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:30. Good night. I'll see y'all for part 2 on Thursday night. Good night, everybody.